Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a hair tutorial for you and you're probably wondering, well, why is your hair already dry? Well, that's because I'm going to be doing something very different. I am going to be curling my hair, or really essentially adding beachy waves to my longer undercut pixie. I wore my hair like this in a recent video and so many of you wanted to know how in the world I did it. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. If you are new to my channel, you've not watched any of my hair tutorials, I will link the most recent one because that is how I dried my hair today. I'm skipping over the blow drying part because the curling part is going to take a little longer. So what I have in my hair, what I put in it when it was wet, is everything in that previous video plus a little bit of the Redken 25 One United. I just like to add this in if my hair is feeling a little dry, or if I know I'm going to be adding a little extra heat. It kind of adds a little extra protection. But aside from that, I used the Agadir Hemp liquid mousse styling spray. So put the majority of that here on the top and the back, and then I did add in a little bit of argan oil. So check out my recent hair tutorial video. I'll link that below, and you will see I have a very deep part right here. That's how I blow dried it. So now let's get started curling. Now, some of you may know this already, but you can use a flat iron to give yourself curls. Well, my normal flat iron is this one. It's a 1 inch, and that's not going to do a whole lot for this portion of my hair. Even though it is pretty long, all that I can really get from that is just kind of a little bend right here. So I have had this little guy for quite a while. This is the Bedhead by TG, and this is their Pixie flat iron, and it is like a 1/2 inch. So it is a baby flat iron. So for those of you who have a shorter pixie cut, you might want to actually get this just for your normal flat iron. But for me, with my longer, when I'm doing straight, it just kind of takes a little extra time, and I just prefer the way the Chi one slides through the hair. But for this tutorial, I need something small. So what I'm going to do is I am going to be curling this top portion back, and then on the sides here, I think I'm going to twist them back. I've done this style now 2 times, and each time I do it a little differently. So let's see how it turns out today. All right, so I'm going to start kind of right in the center. I'm not going to start right here at the front. I'm going to start right here. And you definitely want to make sure that you have your hair kind of combed through. If you've watched my tutorials, you know I kind of just like to use my fingers most of the time, but for this you definitely want to make sure you kind of separate out sections. So I'm going to kind of remove the shorter hair here. I'm going to focus this first curl right here kind of in the center. You can just pick wherever you want to start. And I'm going to now take the flat iron in. I'm going to just twist it back pretty close to the scalp and then pull it out. And so let me show you what that piece of hair looks like. It's going to look a little strange. So from the side, you can see I have this bend, and then this portion of the hair is completely straight. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to twist it and take my flat iron and continue twisting it down to the ends, and then I'm going to pull it out. And so you kind of have this ringlet looking thing right here, but the ends are straight, and that is the key for this look to be kind of more modern and look more beachy wave, is to leave those ends straight. All right, so I'll do a couple more and explain what I'm doing, and then I'll fast forward through. So, but I want to make sure you kind of get the pattern here. I'm watching in the mirror because I need to make sure I don't burn my forehead. All right, so you can see I pulled it out like that. And I mean, obviously, if you leave it like this, this is what you're gonna have. But I kind of want to make the rest of it look like it got curled. So I'm going to twist this and then grab kind of the end, twist, and Whoops. And if it falls out, it's okay. Just grab it again. And you are going to have to kind of hang on to that hair, twist it and hold it. And what you're doing is you're adding just kind of some heat so it'll kind of hold that curl. All right, let's see here. Now this front part, let's see. We'll start off with one curl right here, but I might need to break it up. So again, and twist, okay, and then twist the hair. And the bangs here have, at least mine, have kind of multiple layers. So I'm just kind of trying to get all of those layers kind of going in the same direction. So you can kind of see now we've got like ringlet looking curls here, but the ends are straight. All right, let me see here. Now up here, where you have shorter, or where I have shorter pieces, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to really go back in. I'm just going to curl and then pull out. And usually I don't need to go back in and touch up those ends. And again, you kind of want to make sure you don't grab too large of sections. Just take your time. And this definitely is not a hairstyle you want to try when you don't have a lot of time and you're running out the door on the way to work. So it's something you could get to that point where you're comfortable with, but I would definitely recommend allowing yourself some extra time because you're gonna need to mess with this a little more. So it's just like when you had longer hair, maybe going for a fun night out where you want to actually spend the time to curl your hair. That's kind of what I would say with this. It's definitely not going to be the fastest way to style your hair, but it gives you a different option. Okay, I'm going to continue curling and I will let you listen to some music. And then I'll check back in once we get all of these pieces curled. Okay, for now, we're gonna stop. Don't worry, we're gonna fix this. But right here, I'm gonna go now to my larger flat iron, and I am just going to kind of pull through a little bit here. I'm actually going to make the back just kind of a little bit messy and fluffy because I think that goes a little better with what we're gonna have going on here. And then through this portion, I am just kind of giving some direction to the back. And when you take a flat iron through your hair, it does, especially the chi, it smooths the cuticle of the hair, so it does make it look a little bit shinier and softer. So I know some of you don't like to use a flat iron, and that's okay, but that's kind of one of the reasons why I like to use it, is it just kind of adds a little bit of smoothness because I do have coarse. Okay, for now, we're gonna stop. Don't worry, we're gonna fix this. But right here, I'm gonna go now to my larger flat iron, and I am just going to kind of pull through a little bit here. I'm actually going to make the back just kind of a little bit messy and fluffy, because I think that goes a little better with what we're going to have going on here. And then through this portion, I am just kind of giving some direction to the back. And when you take a flat iron through your hair, it does, especially the chi, it smooths the cuticle of the hair, so it does make it look a little bit shinier and softer. So I know some of you don't like to use a flat iron, and that's okay, but that's kind of one of the reasons why I like to use it, is it just kind of adds a little bit of smoothness, because I do have coarse hair. So, all right, now we've got our curls. Okay, so this is the part where you just kind of have to play with it. So I have found, I've had this on hand for a while. It's the Redken Rough Paste 12. And I'm going to use a little bit of this first. And this is just going to help kind of break up the curls, but add just a little bit of molding power. So I am now going to kind of just break up the curls here with that paste. And as I'm breaking them up, I'm kind of like pulling them down as well. And I am kind of breaking them up, but I'm also in a weird way kind of keeping them a little bit clumped together, because I think that kind of helps give it more of that beachy wave look. Okay, so now here on the sides, what are we gonna do here? I'm going to kind of straighten them down just a little bit. Use that paste to kind of pull that curl down, and we can use the flat iron if we need to straighten it. Okay, so I think this is probably the curliest version that I've done yet. So it's a good thing, right? It starts improving the more I do it. I think the better I get, the more practiced I get. So you can see, let me just show you what this looks like. All right, so on its own, these individual curls, if they come apart, they can look a little bit straighter. But if you want to just tuck those back in, and then just kind of fluff here at the scalp and kind of at the center of the curl, that will break apart the curls just a little bit. And it's going to make you look like you've got kind of some fuller hair and almost natural curly hair. Okay, this front section, I am going to add another bend about halfway down. Okay, and then on the side, I kind of moved a little bit more of that hair over this direction, and then I've taken this flat iron through just a little bit to kind of straighten it out slightly, because I don't want too much of a kind of curl necessarily here on the side. So I just kind of want it to be a little more messy. And now I'm going to take a little bit of my Enjoy Dry Wax. There it is. You know, I can't hardly do my hair without it. So this, I just want to use a little bit for some final shaping and hold here in the front. So I just rub this between my hands, and then I'm going to just kind of use this to further shape and kind of mold these curls in place. And any spots that I kind of want to kind of make look a little bit more curly or wavy, I'll put that through. And then I'm definitely going to put this through the back of the hair and add just a little bit of some texture there. And then I'll use that also on the side, just what's left. Doesn't take much. And then I'm just gonna pull this down just a little bit at an angle. You could certainly keep it all off your forehead if you want. I just kind of like the look of kind of cascading curls, right? At least that's what we're gonna tell ourselves, right? All right. Okay, now I'm just gonna set it in place with my Aussie Instant Freeze hairspray. And then I'm going to finish with just a little bit of the Hemp and Red Wine Gloss Spray Treatment by Agadir. All right, so here's our finished look. And you can see by just adding some bends with that tiny little flat iron, it made the top look kind of like I have natural curly hair or got a wave put in my hair. So I think this is a fun way just to change up your pixie. It does also make the top look longer than it really is. So I think that's a neat little aspect to this kind of style. But as I mentioned earlier, this is just something that each time you do it, it's probably gonna look slightly different. You're gonna need to make sure you've got time to kind of play with it and get it just right. But I think it is something fun and a different way to style your pixie. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure you hit that subscribe button below and I'll see you next time. Bye.